Ladies and gents, Xenos and Chaos, boys, girls, and enemies, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Shanghai Pete, your good buddy in the mix. I hope everyone had a tolerable week at work and managed to avoid as much actual work as possible. I personally spend much more time and effort avoiding work than I ever spend actually working, and I wish the same for you. That being said, it looks like my work is actually not quite done, because many of you expressed quite a bit of disagreement with where I ranked the Outbreak series in our Resident Evil tier list last week. I admit, I was expecting people to have a lot of problems with that list. Outbreak was not the one that I predicted seeing the most dispute, but that is the case, and I find that fascinating. The good news is that it looks like there's still ways to play it in 2025, so I will be spending some of my free time getting that fired up so I can prove y'all wrong. That being said, the rest of the video game industry, of course, has been moving right along, as it tends to do, destroying, creating, and catastrophizing in equal measure. This time, it's good old Microsoft and Xbox leading the senseless, headlong charge into unforced entropy, so you know what they say, we better get deep inside right away. As always, if you do enjoy the content, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Maybe sign up for the Patreon for some super sick merch or just to throw a couple bucks at us. We used to not even mention this, believe it or not, but after several years, it became clear that the algorithm does, in fact, have a ginormous hate boner for our humble little channel here. So we can actually use all the help we can get in, trying to squeeze out from under its enormous shadow. Anyway, deep inside. Right, here we go. Just time for a quick recap of the week, where we begin with the actual, really real this time, final, total, complete death of BioWare's Anthem. What's that? Never heard of Anthem? Don't know what that is? Yeah, me neither. It's the reason no one was really surprised when we found out that the new Dragon Age sucked. Let's put it that way. That's the best definition I can give. Now, I know many of you will be shocked to hear that servers didn't actually shut down 3 years ago and are only just doing so now, but it is true. You have actually been able to play Anthem this whole time, and buy premium currency as well, of course. Tragic that no one did. Lots of people, surprisingly enough, thought BioWare was somehow going to pull this one out of the mud. But guys, BioWare hasn't done anything good in like 10 years. There's no one left there to pull stuff out of the mud. It's over. Let them rest. Rip BioWare. Y'all were great, but it's over. Okay? It's over. It's done. In other news, looks like everybody is very impressed with Death Stranding 2. I have yet to play it, so tell me, what do you guys think? If any of you have actually gotten a chance to get deep inside it, what's the verdict? Is it dope? Should I put aside some dough for Kojima's latest weird walking baby obsession simulator? Is it worth it? Let me know. I'd be fascinated to, well, to be honest, I kind of like a reason to go and try to play it, so let me know. Get in the comments. Also this week, we've got Cyberpunk moving to PlayStation Plus this month, which is great. I always wanted to do a console playthrough so I could experience the game from somewhere other than sitting upright in a chair at a desk. And of course, I also didn't want to pay for it, so Cyberpunk on PlayStation Plus is great news for me. If you haven't played it yet and have a PS Plus sub, I highly recommend it. While it definitely was not at first, now it's an absolutely fantastic game, so you should play it if you haven't. Lastly this week, for anyone that's also a Dark Tide addict like myself, I hang my head in shame. I must admit, I caved. I caved. I bought the new DLC for the new character class. I bought it, and you know what? I'm not sorry. It's totally awesome. It is helped by the fact that the new arbitrator class is a little bit overpowered, it seems like, perhaps. But regardless, on a serious tip, if you love Dark Tide and you have $11 extra hanging around, the new class is not a bad way to spend it. Yes, I know, blasphemous of me to say, perhaps, but I mean, if something's super sick, I gotta tell you, I'm not gonna say something sucks just because I'm mad I had to pay $11 for it. Although, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't tempted. Moving on, for our main story tonight, we must discuss Xbox and how even now, almost 30 years later, Microsoft still apparently is having second thoughts about being a video game company. Pro tip to Microsoft, It's too late for this, G. It's much too late. There ain't no coming back. Y'all are a video game company now, and you need to figure out how to act like it and tamp down on this seemingly endless train of utterly embarrassing fuck-ups. I won't mince words here. Geez, it's bad this time. It's real bad. We got mass layoffs, rampant, unchecked corporate malpractice, and of course ravenous greed, studio closures, game cancellations, and more poor decisions and bad calls than you can shake a vulgar YouTube video at. Are we ever gonna get past the performance of this sad little vignette which seems to insist on playing itself out every few years or months in this goddamn industry? Like, it's not a mystery. In fact, it's an old song, girl, and we heard it 1,000 times. The mass acquisitions made by some big parent company don't make it back into the black quite as quickly as it was perhaps foolishly hoped that they would, and the corporate money guys panic. Not the creative people or the talented devs or the sincerely devoted studio heads, the corporate spreadsheet money guys. And what happens when spreadsheet corpo money guys panic? Do we just give teams more time to finish their games? Do we have faith in the creativity that just a few short months ago was deemed so valuable that they were worth acquiring for billions of dollars? No, of course not. Instead, people panic, working class people lose their jobs, and upcoming games get canceled. Shock. Now, beyond that, I honestly don't know what Microsoft's thinking here, what their plan is. The bizarre optics of Game Pass aside, it's not like they're past the point of no return if they actually decide to try and fix, well, anything. Remember, Xbox is a small percentage of Microsoft, and Microsoft has like all of the money. So if they actually wanted to fix something, here's just quick off the dome, here's how you would do it. First, get Halo out of wherever it is that they've allowed it to bury itself. Sack up some Gears of War shit, get Perfect Dark back out here, finally put World of Warcraft on a console that's just hundreds of millions of dollars you guys are just leaving on the table. Keep pumping Call of Duty, Fallout, the Elder Scrolls. I mean, you guys still have the Forza IP. Make a decent console with the real name. Get those first parties popping again. Leverage the ridiculous amount of studios that you bought to get some system exclusivity shit. Put out another console. Biggity bam. There are things that you can do. A lot of things, as it turns out. But Xbox doesn't really seem to be interested in any of that. Or the execs are too busy panicking to see the obvious options that they do have. I don't know. I recently referred to Xbox as chaotic good, and oh boy, have they been making me look fucking stupid for that call ever since. Ouch. 70 billion spent, and this is where we are? I really thought you could have bought more with $70 billion. Wow. In either case, that is where things stand with Microsoft and Xbox now as we pass the midpoint of the 25th year of the third millennium in this age of terror. And as we get further deep inside, let us first take a closer look at all these layoffs as covered by this Kotaku article. Xbox hit with latest mass layoffs, including multiple game cancellations, as Microsoft cuts 9,100 jobs. Jesus fucking Christ. From Kotaku. Reports and rumors of massive layoffs at Xbox have been building since late last month, and the first blood has now been spilled. Bloomberg reports that Candy Crush maker King is cutting 200 employees, at roughly 10% of its 2,000-person headcount, while multiple games across various Xbox studios, including the Perfect Dark reboot, have been canceled. This is kind of an aside, but like, am I the only person that's surprised that King employs like 2,000 people? To say nothing of having the room to cut 200 employees. Like, what did those people do? Do they still put out games that aren't just copy and paste ripoffs of Candy Crush? I don't know. I actually have no idea. All right, the Seattle Times reports that this is part of a larger 9,100 person cut to personnel across the tech giant. We continue to implement organizational and workforce changes that are necessary to position the company and teams for success in a dynamic marketplace. Oh, you do? That's what you're doing? Oh, all right, nobody panic. Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil added to that in a memo to staff that said the layoffs end or decrease work in certain areas of the business and follow Microsoft's lead in removing layers of management to increase agility and effectiveness. Right, it's management that's getting laid off. Right, okay, of course. King is part of Activision Blizzard, which Microsoft officially acquired in late 2023 for $70 billion goddamn dollars after an extensive and brutal regulatory battle over concerns about marketplace consolidation. Yeah. Clearly had nothing to worry about there, right? Candy Crush, one of the most popular free-to-play mobile games in the world, had just reached $20 billion in lifetime revenue. Jesus Christ. At the time, making it one of the most lucrative parts of the sale. Yeah, if you guys are ever wondering why they don't just spend a little more money to give you a good game, that's why. Because they can spend like $30 on some garbage like Candy Crush, and it'll make $20 billion. That's why. It will also likely be the cornerstone of a long-threatened push to launch its own app store on smartphones following antitrust losses by Apple and Google. No tears shed here for that. Everwild, an action-adventure in production at Rare and revealed years ago for the Xbox Series X/X, was also canceled. Does anyone remember that? Not only does the name not sound familiar, I don't remember anything about it. The new IP from the Sea of Thieves maker was last seen at Microsoft's 2020 gaming showcase. Oh, that's why I don't remember. With reported reboots and leadership changes following years later after nearly a decade in development. A new MMORPG, codenamed Blackbird from Elder Scrolls Online makers ZeniMax Studios, was also canceled today after a lengthy production timeline. Bloomberg reported Kotaku understands that cuts are underway at State of Decay 3 studio Undead Labs as well. Now, a lot of that I don't really care about personally. I mean, I care about the people whose jobs are gone and who now don't know how they're gonna support their family. I care about that. But in terms of games, the only one I was actually kind of interested in is that codename Blackbird MMORPG. For any of you who have played Elder Scrolls Online, it's actually surprisingly pretty good. So the fact that they were making a whole new one with a sci-fi theme, that sounded fucking cool. And I think that game had been in development since like 2018. So that is 7 years is a lot of dev time and work to just axe out of nowhere. That totally sucks. The current wave of mass layoffs hitting Xbox follows multiple other rounds that Microsoft has implemented in the wake of its gaming acquisition spree. Nearly 2,000 staff across the gaming division were cut in January 2024. Oh, just management, right guys? Just management. Followed by the closures of critically acclaimed studios like Tango Gameworks, you bastards, and Arcane Austin in May. Around 600 more layoffs followed in September, with Microsoft saying at the time that no games were canceled as a result of that round of cuts. Oh, good thing too. That's unlikely to be the case this time around, with the full extent of the culling rumor to potentially include entire studios. Jesus God, will they just never learn? Like, how do you spend all this money just to go around firing people and getting rid of all the talent and IPs that you just spent all that money acquiring? What? I mean, I don't have an MBA from Harvard or anything, but I feel like most people could kind of see that that's not a great idea. But what do we know, right? Microsoft's expansive portfolio of game development teams include ones like Oblivion Entertainment, which have prodigiously shipped almost half a dozen games since being bought. Really? Half a dozen? That's pretty good. As well as others like Undead Labs, who have spent years working on sequels that have yet to materialize. Yeah, womp womp. Xbox has also been retreating from its console hardware business amidst reported pressure to improve its bottom line, leading to major first-party exclusives like Sea of Thieves and Gears of War going multi-platform on PlayStation 5. Yeah, here's a hint. Don't do that. We're accountable to Microsoft for running a good business, a healthy business that continues to grow at both top line and bottom line, Spencer said at Summer Games Fest in June, hinting at the current upheaval. That's kind of a foundation for us. Really? Running a business that is successful is a foundation for you? That's fascinating. No one ever would have guessed. Well, actually, judging by the way they've been acting, maybe nobody would have guessed that until recently. Old Spence continued, and what that does is it allows us to continue to invest in Xbox for our community of players and creators, and that we're doing. What? It does mean we have to make trade-offs through the year on things that we're going to invest more in, things we're not going to invest in as much because we are the business that we are. Yeah, in other words, you are slavishly beholden to your corporate betters at Microsoft, and the moment they say jump, you have to jump and then axe, God knows how many jobs, people, games, studios, whatever. Yeah, this, It doesn't take a genius to see that this is not sustainable. Just continuing to cut all the stuff that you just spent money on, that's not going to be enough to all of a sudden make the business viable again. Again, I don't have a Harvard MBA or anything, but something tells me that you're going to need at some point to actually put out some good games and maybe a console. It worked for Nintendo, and they're just Nintendo, the silly little baby games company. And they seem to be kind of fucking everybody else in the ass right now. So I don't know if I would be so quick to dismiss their strategy, Microsoft. Shit, even that stupid Donkey Kong Bonanza game that I was talking all kinds of shit about when I first saw the trailer for it, I've been looking at the more recent footage of it, and it actually looks kind of cold. So I don't know what y'all are thinking, but it's time to think something else. And lastly, even worse, as if all this hadn't been bad enough, they had to go and take a personal shot at your boy, me, Shanghai Pete, the veteran of 1,000 culture wars, your good buddy in the mix, the last Boy Scout himself. They had to fuck with John Romero's money. Now, if y'all don't know, John Romero is the genius that brought us Wolfenstein 3D, Quake, and Doom. I mean, among other people, but he was one of the prime people behind it, right? And rumor is that his studio not only is being threatened to be shut down, but the FPS that they've been working on for a couple years now, its funding is being threatened also. Now, is it possible that this unknown, unseen mystery FPS is just a Daikatana sequel, in which case, if it suddenly disappears, the world will actually be far better off? Sure, it's possible, but god damn it. Just don't fuck with John Romero, please. You want to cancel all those other games, kill all those other studios, fine. Just don't. Whatever you do, fuck with the Doom guy.
Yup, woke up, smoke up, blunt, then I pass out. Pass out. Woke up, what up, smoke up, blunt, then I'm back down. Back down. What? Yup, woke up, smoke up, blunt, then I pass out. Pass out. Woke up, what up, smoke up, blunt, then I'm